If you've ever woke up and felt like it's Christmas morning because the first football game of the season is this evening, then you'd be like me. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. We also, before the football starts tonight, we have a huge slate of earnings to go or to track. We had earnings here this morning. Meta's ripping from yesterday. We got a lot to go over. Glad you're all here. 13's ready. Let's get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Good morning, everybody. Bob, Dustin, Robert, and River. You guys, the early birds. Let's hope you get the worm. Ryan, welcome. Good morning. Hope you all are doing well. Like I said, today is a big day, just a big, big day. I can barely contain my excitement, but we've got work to do first. And to do that work, we're going to bring on 13. 13, how are you doing here this morning?
I'm doing just fine. Just fine.
Okay. Are you ready to do work?
Hell yes.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Let's go, guys.
Hell yes. Let's go. It is time to get into it. We're just going to go ahead and start with the SPY here. I don't have a whole lot on this, so I'm curious to know about your levels here, 13. Here's where we look like on the daily chart. We're kind of finding some resistance at the 20-day. I've got that at 552.47. We'll see if we're able to break above and close above that today. So far, we've done a really good job holding the trend line and the 50-day moving average, which is the level that we were looking for on the downside. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Glad I was able to hit the mute button there. So with SPY, let's take a look inside and see what we're looking at here. Let me get my chart to change here. Don't know what's going on. There we go. And if we take a look inside, one of the things that we're going to be looking at here is going to be the 555 level. Now, so far, we've found resistance here at 554. But if you recall back to some of the levels that we were discussing just a few weeks ago, 555 was a clear level that we were paying attention to. So I think that's going to come into play here today. Now, 13, what do you think here on the SPY? What levels are you looking at?
Yeah, I think you're right. 555 looks like it's going to be on deck for at very least the test of 555, and we may even end up going through it at some point. So if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised there. It would be surprising to me if we ended up trading all the way up to the previous all-time high of, or the current all-time high, of a 565.16. That's a bit of a ways to travel, so I don't really think we're getting up there. As far as tops today, I'd be looking at about 556.50 and 559.50. That would be where I think the price would top out if we start to rally beyond 555. There's also a possibility that we don't rally at all. We just kind of do this pop up to 555, maybe a little bit above it, and then start trading down. That's entirely possible as well. We are getting resistance from the 20-day SMA, so previously we have that could happen again today. And if we do start trading down, then I'm going to be looking at the levels of previous all-time highs. The first one being 551.80 and then 548.62. That's going to bring us down to, I don't know that we'll necessarily get down to 547, but if we do, that's going to be the next big level that I think we could get some support from. So those will be the levels I'll be looking for. Big levels to keep in mind is just to the downside, 547 to the upside, which we're near is 555 and higher.
Okay. Another chart that I wanted to take a look at here was going to be IWM. I was on Trader TV yesterday in the afternoon, and I was literally watching this break happen live and cheering along the way. We did break and we came back in. So one of the other things that I'm going to be looking at, here's an example of that. Here's what we were actually looking at. You can see it really ripped through that and came all the way back in. I want to see if we get above this level again. Let's call it 225.25 here on the IWM. Let's see if there's strength here, if this rotation continues, and if IWM names or small caps in general are still in favor. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the movers, and then we can go ahead and run through any of the stocks that you folks want to take a look at. Let me just jump over here. We actually don't have a whole lot here today. So let's just knock them out real quick. First one here is going to be BBLG. This is one that we've actually talked about recently. This is Bone Biologics. I can't remember what the catalyst was the last time we traded this, but it does have a new one here today. You can see it's actually made some pretty good moves on good volume here in the pre-market. So we'll see what happens. I'm sorry. This actually does not have a catalyst. Oh, no, this just had a PR here from from yesterday morning. I apologize. I mixed this up with one of the other stocks on the list. So let me know if you guys have anything here. Ticker BBLG 13. I'm sorry about that. Did you have anything here on BBLG?
So the news, there really isn't any news, not even yesterday. That Thursday was July 25th, not the 31st.
Yeah.
Or Wednesday, July 24th. So the news, there's no real news.
There's no real recent news. Yeah, I mixed this up. Sorry.
I think this is more relative volume because it did seem like the volume was a little bit higher than the average volume that they usually get. If that's the case either, but it's moving today, so let's just go with that. Has a 1 million share float. Other than that, don't have any other news. The thing that you were talking about why it was moving another day that we traded this is that they had patients that were treated in the multi-center prospective randomized study for this company's NB1 bone graft device. So I believe that, and that was back in June. So I think that's what you were talking about. This also had some movement earlier this month too, but I'm not exactly sure what that was on either. But that's all I have for BBLG. As far as levels go, don't think I had too many. I have one here. So that's at 215. We're already above that. I'll give you some more levels later on, but let's start with
372 looks to be the double top here. 373 maybe in the pre-market. So we're about to test that. We'll see if we break above that here. 333 is your VWAP.
Let's call 425 an upside target since that's how high it went on the 24th of July.
Yeah, with you on that one. Okay, BBLG, your top mover of the day in terms of percentage gain. Now, next here is going to be IMRX. This is Immunoring. I know we've traded this before. I can't place exactly when it was, but I know that we've traded this before. Immunoring Corporation. Immunoring shares are trading higher after the company announced that IMM 104 was granted fast track designation from the FDA. Okay, so that's definitely positive news. Now, one of the things that we've been discussing recently on some of these stocks is going to be their cash position, right? Let me see. Yeah, it's the same thing as the headline here. One of the things that we have been discussing is the cash position here on Immunoring. Now, I'm going to turn this over to you here, 13, but real quickly, if we take a look at the balance sheet, this company has 66 million on the balance sheet, and last quarter, they burned 15 million. So it looks like they have at least 3 to 4 quarters of runway of cash. What do you think here about this news and this company?
Well, it's got a lot of really interesting things happening all at the same time for it that make this an interesting trade today. The news is that they got we're granting fast track designation for the drug that you had mentioned. It has a 22 million share float. They do have that cash position. So when you take the outstanding shares, not the float, but the outstanding shares, and figure what their cash position is per share, you get about $2 a share, and we're beneath that. So I'd be looking for this to at least go up to $2 today, just on the cash position alone. Another thing it has going for it is that it's got a short interest of 13% with 12.86 days to cover. That makes it a short squeeze candidate as well. So this actually has a lot of potential to really move today. I'm looking for this to at least get up to $2 just based on the cash position alone. But how high it goes, I really have no idea. We could start looking at some levels. 2 definitely looks like one. Also, 320 also looks like another level that could rise to. So we'll just start with that, see how high it goes. But I'm looking for 2 in this one if we start getting that volume out of the gate.
Okay, the real good stuff there on the breakdown too, trying to make sense of some of these names. I absolutely love that. We're not saying that this is definitely going to move up, but what we're trying to do is identify different reasons why it could move up. And frankly, I know we've only covered 2 of the stocks here on the movers list, but frankly, this one has a lot more going for it than BBLG. We've seen this before. Just because it has, quote, things going for it, end quote, doesn't necessarily mean that it's just going to continue and be great. But this is something that we're definitely watching here. This one, I agree with you, 13. I think I'm a little bit more interested in this one. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the rest of them. Here's Meta. Meta's actually most of the time when we talk about some of these movers, they're lower price stocks. They're much smaller. But here we go. Meta trading up 9% here in the pre-market. Meta shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q2 financial results and issued Q3 guidance above estimates. 13, if you have more detail on this, you're welcome. It seems to me we've had a number of companies. Chris actually pointed this out yesterday in the happy hour. Chris Beasley, if you're out there this morning, hat tip to you. He pointed out in the happy hour that we've had 3 companies recently discuss the costs of AI and not discuss the return on investment of that AI. Now, Meta, it seems to be doing a little bit better here. We've been talking about the AI bubble, popping and what it's actually going to mean and what stocks are going to be good and what stocks aren't going to be good. And we're not going to be 100% accurate on that, but it sure seems like, despite my own personal view of Meta, they're actually doing a decent job here. The stock trading above 500. This sure looks like this is going to 520 here for me today. If we take a look at the bigger chart, we can actually get an idea of what this daily looks like. Here you go. Look where we're popping to here. All-time high here, right up about 540. We actually popped above all these moving averages. We're at the top end of this area where we found resistance before. We'll see here on Meta. I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think that we're going to see Zuckerberg sell some more shares today.
And is that a short? So here, we're going to tie a comment here together, thinking about it, saying who likes 531 for a short? So 13, not to put you on the spot here, but kind of to put you on the spot. If you do see or feel like Zuckerberg is selling, do you think that this is a possible short, maybe a put trade with defined risk ahead of time?
Well, I think that this is just extended like a lot of other stocks, or they're overowned. All these Mag 7 stocks are still overowned, despite
sure are
pulling back a little bit here. So I do think that Zuckerberg and along with Bezos and 2 of the other Mag 7 CEOs, they've been selling, and I don't expect that to stop. Zuckerberg has clearly been selling every time it's over 500. So we're over that today. I expect him to see it, and I think that it won't be up here for too long. I think we'll end up turning around at some point, maybe not until later in the month, or it could be really soon. But this is the seasonality of August and September tend to be lower compared to the other months in the in the market. So I think that we're going to be topping out here at pretty soon. I don't think we go too much higher. 531. That's not a bad spot either. It's a previous high back from April. So that could be a spot, but I don't know where this tops out at. I just think that I wouldn't be buying it up here. Let me just put it to you that way.
Okay. First of all, I like a lot of the stuff that you just said there. The 531 level that you, in thinking about it, were speaking of, this jumps right off the chart here. I have it marked at 530.55, but I'm not zoomed in on the candle. 531 seems about right. And your other point about the seasonality in August, if we look back just to last year, as soon as August started, this stock sold off and actually didn't go green again until the middle of October. I think you might be onto something there in terms of seasonality. Really good stuff here on Meta. One more thing to add here. Comp SRX1 saying 3 weeks for puts, if that's how you're going to play it. This stock has high intraday and week beta. So give yourself enough time on those options if you're looking for a pullback here. That actually worked really well the last couple of options trades that I've worked, Comp. So really love that tip there. I think you're spot on on that. Okay, let me go back to the movers. Let's finish off this list here, and then we'll go take a look at what the group wants to take a look at. We talked about BBLG. We talked about IMRX. By the way, Webcoin said this earlier. Fast Track is not a great catalyst. Look at TNXP, has the same no movement. That's true, but there's other stuff going on here with IMRX. So again, we're not sure if this is going to run, but we are trying to figure out all of the different things that are affecting it and give us the best possible chance to trade it.
Yeah,
okay.
And also TNXV loses a lot more money. They don't have as much cash. It's just one facet of this whole gem with IMRX. The fast track designation is a catalyst, but it's a short-term catalyst. I agree that this is not something you want to jump in and just buy and hold this stock over. This is something you just want to trade it over. That's why we're mentioning it today.
Yep. Bingo. Okay, next here is going to be RCM. Looks like this is a buyout. Yep, acquired by investment. So that's why this is up 9% here. I don't think there's a trade here on this. So let's just pass. That's what's going on. Looks like NRSN is just now popping as we're talking. This went from penny territory to dollar territory. Neurosense Therapeutic shares announces positive biomarker data for ALS phase 2 clinical trial. Okay, that definitely sounds good here. I don't have any financials. Are you able to pull financials on this one? Is the annual? Let's see. I got nothing on quarterly.
No cash. They got like thousands of dollars in cash.
Thousands of dollars in cash. They're going to need more for a trial. That seems like a raise coming. High debt on this name as well. Total liabilities. Yep.
Yeah.
Total liabilities are their liabilities are almost as big as the company is.
I think there's an offering coming with this one soon. Be careful.
I think so too. So be careful if this is the one that you're going to play. This would be, kind of technicals only. Some of you penny players are really aggressive on that stuff and do very well with it. So don't let me scare you out of it, but just know what's going on here. LSH, this was another one that we had talked about recently. Looks like this is kind of trading on some more momentum here. We'll see if we can break above that 436. I've got the VWAP here at 410. You didn't have anything on L. I think we covered this one on one of your vacation days this week. I can't remember exactly.
No. Well, it might have moved on when I was gone, but it also had news from yesterday that they are trading higher after the company announced that it entered into a 1-year agreement with automatic annual renewals with a leading Asia-based e-commerce platform to provide cross-border fulfillment services. I wonder if that might be is it Baidu that or Baba that is e-commerce? Which one is it? I forget.
Baba. It's like
Baba.
Isn't it like the Amazon of China?
I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, that seems like that could be the company they're talking about, but I'm just guessing.
Alibaba is the world's largest online and mobile e-commerce company is measured by gross merchandise volume. Operates in the China online marketplace, including Taobao and Tmall.
All right.
So there you go. Okay. That's LS. Sorry?
And 1.5 million shares in the float, so easy to move around.
Okay.
I just don't know what we're really getting going on other than that catalyst from yesterday, which happened intraday. So it might also be a little relative volume too. This is in the marine transportation industry.
Okay. Good stuff there. Here's LSH. There we go. All right. Next here, IMNN. This is one that we talked about the last 2 days, right? We talked about this having a huge run, had an offering yesterday, really sold off. Look how weak this was all day. Now today, it's trying to trade up a little. Let's see if we get a rebound. Be careful with this one if this is what you end up playing. All right, let's take a look at some other stocks that the group wants to take a look at really quickly. Let's go ahead and throw this up here. Don't forget, today, the biggest day of earnings here this week. We await Amazon, Apple, Intel, Coinbase, DraftKings, Roku, and even Block. For you Bitcoin folks down there, Marathon also reporting here. Mara. So lots of earnings reports here tonight. Big Mama is going to be the one that everyone's talking about with Apple. We'll see how that reports. Love to know how you folks are approaching this. Are you going to trade these today leading up to the print? Are you looking to trade either long or short for the print? Would love to hear how you guys are approaching all of this. Now, are there any stocks that you folks want to take a look at? Let me go through the chat here and see if we can find any. Ryan, you think it might jump up? Ryan, so you think it might jump up calls for Meta? Jay Harris, I'm sorry, man. I'm not sure what you're asking there. If you could rephrase that. What other stock? Purgatory Park saying Apple looks heavy up there. So I guess we could start with Apple. As mentioned, they report their earnings here today. Looks like they did run into the 20-day moving average and couldn't quite close above that. Here in the pre-market, we'll see if it's got some strength here. It looks like it's going to test this. Not sure what the moving average is actually going to mean for the print. One of the things, what's Skyworks? SKWS, right? SWK. What is Skyworks? I can never remember this ticker. I
I'm sorry, SWKS.
SWKS. Oh my God, I can never get that ticker right. Remember, Skyworks, which provides a lot of chips for Apple, they reported earnings and they really traded down. Now, they did have a pretty good intraday session yesterday, coming back, at least retracing 50% of that down move, that elevator down. But if you're going to use this as a proxy for Apple's earnings, just note this did miss and trade down here. Let's see. Did you give our calls in play for Meta? Yes, Jay Harris. Unless that thing shows any type of reversal or we get news that Zuckerberg is selling or anything like that, there's so much strength here today. Yeah, I think they are probably in play. The one thing that I will say is that now that the binary event is out of the way, you might get a little bit of IV crush on those. But if you wait for that to settle out, you should still be all right and able to play that. Okay, so that takes care of Skyworks. Thank you, folks, for throwing in some tickers in there. We're going to go with Kava. Can't believe we're being asked about Kava again, but here we go. If we take a look at the daily chart, you can see Kava. We have 13 and 13. I think I can speak for you on this. We have both thought this is overvalued. Is that fair for me to say?
Yeah.
Kava. Okay, yeah. So you can see here we actually had a triple top here. Did not quite print 100. We actually pulled off this spot. Let's see how big was that move down. 22% pullback, so pretty good. Now here on the way back up, we're going to test some of these moving averages. First line in the sand here, 84.61. Let's call it 84.50, and then 87.25 above that. That's going to be your 50-day moving average. This stock still feels overpriced to me, but there's no denying that it has had upside momentum and it is still in an uptrend. So despite this pullback, I mean, this looks still a pretty clear uptrend. When this thing really starts to sell off, I do think it's going to have a date with its 200-day moving average, but I'm not confident enough to say that that's what we're looking at here today or this week. Did you have anything that you wanted to mention here on Kava?
I just really want to see if it can get above these two moving averages, the 20 and the 50. They're pretty close to each other. It's currently trying to move over the 20. If it gets that, really paying attention to that 50, don't think it's going to have the strength to get over it. It looks like it's not trading as well as it used to prior to the split. Volume really seems to have left this one. You can just look at the volume over the past a few months, past quarter really, and see that the volume is really starting to dry up in this. So that's not really a good sign if you want this to go higher. I don't think it has the activity to get up there. So we'll see if that's what happens. For me right now, I think this definitely needs to go lower. It's really overvalued looking at the PE ratios. So yeah, downside ahead for this one, in my opinion.
Okay. Really good stuff there, folks. You guys gave a bunch of tickers. We're not going to be able to get through them all, but I appreciate this. SMCI was the next one here. Sebio, this one is extremely simple for me. We've seen how SMCI likes to move with momentum. So if you get a day where tech is in favor and chips are really moving, sure, you could day trade this in whatever direction of the trend. But if you're looking at this for maybe like a swing or something larger than a day trade time horizon, I like that this is held above the 200-day. We did we touch it? Yeah, we did actually. I think we did touch it here on Tuesday. Now we're getting several closes here above the 200. I think as long as it can hold this, we're probably pretty good. So bullish, maybe above 660. What do you have here on SMCI?
Well, I think it needs to start moving away from this moving average in order to feel better about it. The fact that it's still hanging out here would make me a little nervous. And you have these other moving averages bearing down toward it. Now, if we start getting these moving averages, well, if it starts trading underneath the 200, that's going to be one thing to be concerned about. But then you're going to have the moving averages start crossing that 200, which can lead to bearish indicators. So I think this really needs to start getting back up above 775. I'd still be beneath the moving average of 20 and the 50, but 775 looks like a spot that it needs to start trading up to in short order, or else we're going to probably see some more downside in this one as well.
Okay, good stuff here on SMCI. And folks, let's talk about the 200-day real quick. Remember, we did have a swing long entry trigger happen yesterday on Chipotle. Thankfully, this continued to trade higher throughout the course of the day. So we're talking about the 200-day. And as far as SMCI goes, I don't think it's completely over if we break the 200-day. If we have something like this where the stock breaks it and then recaptures it in fairly short order, let's call that within 2 weeks. Okay. If it recaptures that, it can really go. We're starting to see that in Chipotle, but here's another example of how great this trade can actually be. I know I have a lot of drawings on here. Let me see if I can clear some of these off. Let's hide the drawings and see if let's hide some of these other moving averages, at least for the time being. And let's see if we can. Okay, so here you go. So here's Home Depot. Look what Home Depot did. The last couple of times that it's come into the 200-day, it's been a really, really important event. This first time here, man, we consolidated for a little bit before inevitably popping. We actually retested and broke, but again, within that 2-week period, we were able to consolidate and then reclaim. Then we tested it a third time. This actually made an inverse head and shoulders in addition to that. But when we recaptured the 200-day the last time, look at this rip. And now we've actually pulled back, did not retest it, and now we're going higher. If Home Depot breaks 375, this trade right down here, swing long entry at 342, let's call it 343 or 345, even if you want to be a little bit more conservative and wait for the candle close. This actually launched it. And so we're hoping to see the same thing on the trade that we just triggered yesterday in CMG. And this is something to consider when you're watching something like SMCI. Even if it breaks down through that 200-day, there might still be a trade. Keep it on your watch list and at least understand what's going on.
Yeah, in order for the inverse head and shoulders to fully resolve, it's got one more move, and that's to go beyond the July 17 and 18 highs. This most recent downside move that we had, that's a back test of the neckline. And now that it's come off of that, the full resolution is going to be kind of returning to where it all started. So that's going to be about 380. I think that's where this Home Depot could end up going in order to fully resolve the inverse head and shoulders pattern. After that, then it's just going to be, we're just going to have to look for what the next movement is. But I think this could get back up to 380 as a full resolution of this inverse head and shoulders pattern.
That 380 level, by the way, was a former resistance and support. Okay, we're open. Sorry we couldn't cover all of the great suggestions that you guys had, but that's okay. We're going to be able to find stuff here today. As a reminder, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above the pattern day trading threshold, need more dry powder, they can help you out. Go ahead and check them out. Let's see what we got here today, folks. Let's see what we got. Scanner opening up a little slow here today. Meta's going higher. So Jay Harris, you were asking about up. I guess I spoke too soon. We'll see there. If Meta holds, that might actually reverse. I'm looking for that to be a little wild here today. Let's see what else. ALXO, this really sold off. Are we bouncing here? Yeah, so this really kind of sold off from bad data from a trial. So it looks like maybe a dead cat bounce here. Don't really see a whole lot of other great stuff. SMCI call. Oh, those are tiny, though. Those are tiny calls. Okay, I'm going to flip over to Trade the Pool. Let me know what you folks got. Oop, oop. Perfect. Let's take a look at IMRX.
All right. Do you have yours hanging at about 150?
Yeah. Okay. 150 right here. 144, your low print. 157 size to the upside. That's what I'm looking at. 155 VWAP. So it looks like it's right at VWAP here.
Yeah, just slightly above it. And it looks like it's about to pop. Is that what we're going to get here? 157 and 165 have some pretty good size there to get through. About 14,000 and 19,000 shares respectively.
Okay. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to try some here at 152. Let's see what kind. We were talking about this being a target. So 144. I'll tell you what, if it breaks 141, we can reassess. But let's see if it's got this juice to get above this VWAP area. I have it marked here on Trade the Pool as 155, but I have some size here chilling at 157. So let's see if IMRX can take that out here. I generally like to wait out the open. Didn't do that here today. Let's see if that bites me, or let's see if that rewards me.
Yeah, the consolidation it's really got to get through is going to be in the about 165. That's from the after hours yesterday. Just a lot of consolidation after the market closed. So
there's your 157 wall gone and deleted. Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go. We're going to follow some. Let's see at 165. I've got some more size there.
Yeah. That's from the consolidation from yesterday. We get
Yep.
through that, then we're looking at 172 and 180 as the next levels of resistance that we could shoot for. The high from yesterday's after hours to today, this morning's pre-market is 183. We get past that. Let's see here. That could really start to move this thing. Looks like about 205 would be another upside target, and that's based off the high from June 11th.
I am raising a stop to that 155 level that we just watched fall, just to make sure that we get something. But I know this is absolutely tiny here. But let's see. We can actually trade this a number of times here today. And don't worry, Lion Atlas. I'm looking at FMC out of the corner of my eye. We're gonna go there. We're gonna go there pretty soon. Don't you worry about that. If we break this 165 area, yep, there we go. We can actually probably, oh, we didn't take it out. Sorry, I spoke a little too soon there. Apologize. We'll try not to do early calls here today. I've got more size at 168 and a little bit more there at 170. There we go. We're going to raise stops now. 161 the stop.
Killing it, man. Killing it.
Nah, I mean, we're still dealing with low size here, but we're doing a really good job with process here. This feels very, very mechanical. There's really no surprises here. One of the other things that we're going to do here, if we pop above, I'm going to put a target price here at 180. At 180. So we'll see there. Now we've got a pretty decent setup here. I'm actually going to raise stop one more penny there. We'll see if this breaks. It's likely going to stop me out as it flushes beneath 164. That held. Let's see if we go higher here. IMRX. Okay, let me catch up on the chat. I'm sorry for ignoring you guys. Hollow, you're mentioning FMC report was not bad. No, it was not. PMAC penny. We'll take a look at that here. Smoke tuna. I was stopped out there. So okay. So trade one. First trade, we're 1 for 1 here today. I'm going to keep watching this though, because I think that this probably isn't done. You guys are nuts for IMRX. We'll see where we end up here. This continuing to go here. 173. Sorry.
We're nuts for whatever's moving.
We're nuts for whatever's moving. This actually clearing out all of that size here. Let's go. And let's see. Let's now start waiting and see to set up for a pullback. I do expect this to pull at some point. When we do that, we'll see if we can get another trade here. I feel like it's chasing. Now it is, but the entry that we had, no, that was right around VWAP. We were real close. If you're buying it up here, yeah, Rustical, you are chasing, no question. We outlined the entire thesis for this one and why this one was on watch prior to the open here, and it looks like so far we're being rewarded. Actually, let me check the rest of that list and see what those other stocks are doing here. 13 BBLG
down, but it might find some support at 315, so I'm watching for that. And then let's see, what was our other one? That was MDJH. I don't think I have that up here right now because it didn't look great to me.
RCM was one that we talked about very briefly. Oh, no, that was the buyout. Sorry. EVGO. I didn't see that one on there. That's a Carmen name, isn't it? EVGO. Might have had news right before there. Right before. LSH was one we took a look at. That's still lower. So I think we did a good job picking the right mover this morning. Yeah. I really do.
We might have to just go into some of these other names that reported though, because there's not a whole lot of small cap movers or micro cap movers, and this one that we were just trading, it's not moving like some of the ones we've traded in the past.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much gas is going to have after this morning.
Right. And that's why that's a really good point, 13. And that's exactly why I'm okay taking gains. We've spent all month, probably even longer, preaching, hey, when you have gains, don't be afraid to take them. Not going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to do exactly what I tell you folks. Okay.
Palantir starting to move. Sorry.
All good. There's a lot going on early here. Just Ashan was asking, Mara earnings today. Yes. Yeah. Mara earnings after the bell today. Yes. Smoke Tuna looking at PAC. PACK. PAC ripping here out of the gate. This is Ranpak Holdings. Was there news on this? Let me check here real quick in Pro. Yes, they had earnings here this morning. So this looks like an earnings mover here. This was a mixed report, beat on EPS, sales miss, but very, very minor. So yeah, it looks like they're moving up on mixed earnings. I don't see a guide from that, so I wonder what's going on there. LUMN, you guys are talking about now too. Is that another mover here?
Containers and packaging. I wonder if that's from people having to move out. Just kind of thinking out loud. PLTR.
PLTR. Let me put that up on screen. I got a request from Bear Down Jacob Bear here.
All right.
Let me handle that for him. Where are you? What are you seeing here on Palantir? When T halted, sorry, you guys were calling it and I was not paying attention to the chat. I apologize. When T through yesterday's after hours high and into the halt here, 1016 halted.
Yeah, this one was moving yesterday too, wasn't it?
Yeah. This one has been moving for like the past week, 5 sessions maybe.
Oh, because on Monday they announced a private placement.
Okay.
C convertible shares and preferred. All right. So IMRX, that has come back into the VWAP. So
Perfect.
Exiting the trading we did was great.
I'm coming. All right, Jacob, you should be all set if you're still here, chilling. Let's take a look. IMRX. Let's see if we get another setup here.
At this point, I think we just need to wait.
Let it shake out.
Yeah, it's beneath VWAP now. The volume's really not great. We got the good movement right out of the gate there, so let's just be patient with this one. Okay,
and you know what? We did it. It was very, very mechanical on that first trade, so let's not try to be a hero here. TMDX being mentioned by Ashan. What's going on with this one? Transmedics Group. This was had to have been in earnings again, right? That had to have been. TMD. Here. Shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q2 financial results and raised full-year revenue guidance above the estimates. That has been one of the big drivers there. This continuing to move.
Oh, Rusty, you're not scaring us out of IMRX. We're just trading how we normally trade.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. Like IMRX might be junk. Like we went through the little rundown that we had, but we don't know for sure. Like this still might be junk, and you have to play these smaller stocks, especially as if they're going to screw you. Go into the trade thinking that, so that maybe you can be a little bit more protective. That's all. Most
of the stuff that we're bringing up here is really junk that we would never want to hold at all. So we're just trading it because it's got the movement.
Yep.
That's it.
Oh, and you know what? There's my VWAP. So far we are bouncing here off the VWAP. Let's see. Jay Summers, quick in and out. Love it. Jay Rice. Good morning, nice. Jay. Hopefully you are well. Mentioning that Boeing finally getting hit on the earnings. Looks like this is a delayed reaction. This has now deleted the entire move that was put in yesterday post those earnings. Jay, what do you think for downside? Maybe the 50 here?
I like this Lumen mention here. Who said Lumen? Somebody. Bob Ralston.
Yep,
that's really nice, and it looks like it could be squeezing as well. This has a 18.8% short interest, 15.26 days to cover. That's a candidate for a short squeeze. Let me get this one on my platform to see if I can find some levels here. Good mention. This thing has just been ramping up since all month of July. We're in August now. All right. So let's see here. With LUMN, there is a gap to be filled coming up once we get over, what is this number? That's once we break out of 420. Wisdom.
Where's Wisdom?
Yeah. Once you break out of 420, there's a gap to be filled all the way up to 495. So that's something that we could watch for on Lumen and see if we get that. I'm going to mark off some levels here. Just make sure.
Real quick, BBLG, it looks like this did bounce and move through the VWAP and then instantly knifed. Was anyone else watching this one? I didn't see you guys throwing the ticker in the chat, so maybe there wasn't a ton here. But the chart here, this looks like this volume pop moved through the VWAP right up to 363, but then got slammed back down here. We're right at the VWAP here on BBLG. I'd be careful of this one. Really a break of this low here, 327. Is that what this is? Yeah. Break of this low here, 315, probably your dead drop here. Okay. Dennis Diaz, I know you guys don't trade crypto, but I wanted to share a ticker symbol. You are welcome to share whatever you want. By the way, FMC Green, that report is real good. Lion Atlas, and we talked about being down multiple. I think we were down like almost 10 points, right? 10 points on this name, and we kept saying, hey, we know this is going to work, and guess what? It's working.
Stay patient or you'll be one.
Stay patient or you'll be one here. Patience has paved the way on FMC. Anyway, Dennis, let me get back to your comment. I'm sorry, I got distracted there. I know you guys don't trade crypto, but I wanted to share a ticker symbol. If you think ETH will go down, get Seth. Okay, so you're absolutely right. We do not trade actively in crypto, but we watch crypto every single day. And one of the things that you're saying here is an inverse, a short ether ETF. So if you want to take advantage of Bitcoin moves without actually trading the coins, this is a way to do it. You see us doing this with chips and technology all the time with SOXL and SQQQ and TQQQ and all that other stuff. So good mention here. I wonder about the liquidity of this, of Seth. And I don't know, do any of you guys know any Seths in real life that maybe that, would play into how you actually trade this? I do stupid stuff like this. On average, this ETF trades 37,000 shares a day. So be very, very careful. It's probably not going to be that liquid. You're going to have some pretty good conviction on that trade.
And who knows, maybe one day when, like how we had it back in 2020 and 2021, where there are a lot more participants in the crypto space, we might actually start wanting to trade crypto if there's enough volume, enough movement to where we think we can make money. But because that environment doesn't really exist right now, where a lot of people are at home and they have money that they got from the government to trade and make all kinds of good and bad choices with their money, that's not really something that I'm really following right now, because I just don't think the participation is substantial enough to really want to trade those markets. But one day we could. So maybe visit us every now and then to see if we're doing it yet.
I think he hangs out here. I think he's just sharing that. And that's what I'm saying. And look, even if it's not something that's in our wheelhouse, you are welcome to bring it up. It doesn't stop with crypto. We are constantly looking for new ideas and new things to get involved with. And if you have something, let us know. I know we kind of poo-poo penny stocks here, but frankly, we still bring them up and announce ones that are moving, even though I don't trade them. It's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you, Dennis, for sharing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we really do appreciate that.
IMRX has popped back above VWAP. Okay. Careful with this one, though. I'm not really liking these wicks that it has on top here. Yeah, so if it holds VWAP, there might be a good chance that this could pop above those wicks. But if we do not hold that VWAP, then this is going to be just something I move on from. So let's see what happens here. I think this 5-minute candle we're currently looking at is going to tell us whether or not we want to keep going with this or move on.
A lot of size between the 174 and the 177 level there that the volume is really going to have to take out. Okay, Lumen getting mentioned here by Crow. Crow, it's great to see you this morning. Hope you are well. Lumen continues to trade to the highs here. That is indeed pushing. Lynn asking about Lilly, Eli Lilly. This has been out of favor recently, but boy, oh boy, we're having a good day here today. The one thing that I'll say here on Lilly is that I still think, especially if this shows some strength, I still think that this is the potential split candidate. Catalyst here today, Eli Lilly shares trading higher after the company announced top-line results from the Summit Phase 3 clinical trial evaluating the safety and efficacy of tirzepatide injection. That's one of the other GLP-1s in adults with heart failure and preserved ejection fraction and obesity. Okay, so good trial news here, or trial results here for Lilly. It's pushing it higher. This is actually pulled back. What do you think on that? What do you think about swinging this? Do you like this at all? Think this is a potential trade here? Let me go to a bigger chart. We can take a look at some levels.
Eli Lilly is one of those companies that would be in my long-term portfolio. It's not something I would necessarily trade, but that's me. I'm not saying you shouldn't trade it. You guys trade how you want, but that's not something I personally like.
Yeah, and to be very, very clear, when I say trade, I don't often make big distinctions in portfolios for long. I'll mention it if it is. But here's Lily. We recaptured that 100-day. Does look like we're pushing up towards that 877. Okay, Carvana, you mentioned.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know I'm behind here.
No worries, no worries. This thing is pushing right now. Where is it? Jay Rice. I know you've traded, or maybe it was Crow. I think it was Crow, who traded Root. Wonder if he's around and he could tell us if he's aware that CVNA apparently has warrants to acquire Root. I noticed that from their ER that they had last night. They had mentioned they have warrants, so that was interesting. So there could be a relationship trade here with CVNA and Root, ROOT. Let's see how that's moving today. Not really doing a whole lot. So not really getting that relationship trade happening with that one, but that was interesting to me. So it's something that bears with watching between.
Yeah, Carvana, by the way, this is without a doubt a short squeeze, and that short interest has started to come down now. It's still at 20%, so it's still significant, but over the last several reports, it's definitely come in. It does look like some of those shorts are covering up here real quick. Smoke Tuna mentioning that IMRX could flush big if it can't hold where it's at. Again, don't be afraid to take your gains when you have them. Don't hold things through flushes unless you have a plan. Win Tree, that's Win T. This is open, pushing higher now. Boy, this printed above 12.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and I agree with IMRX. Great call on the Wint. Wint.
Yeah.
I think I made that joke last time.
Wint. Here.
So she's flying, man.
So I have a funny story. Yesterday, I was flipping around TV and I saw that we were near the end of Twister. And I was like, oh, the live trading chat has been talking about this. So I just flipped it on. And within 30 seconds, I got that Philip Seymour Hoffman line. And baby, awesome. She's flying. It was perfect timing. I was like, I wish 13 were here to see this. It was perfect. So I'm glad I was able to play that here this morning. That's the circle is now complete.
Went almost up to this level I have at 12.55. That was just 25 cents away. If it gets through that, the next upside target I have is 15.40, which is quite a leap up from where that 12.55 is. So no guarantee it gets up there, but just something I'm shooting for if we get that volume to expand some more.
Couple of things to mention here, Jane. I'm not leaving you hanging, I promise. BBLG here. This is actually right at the VWAP, or it was. Looks like it's actually going through the VWAP now. No position here for me, but watch this. This did pull down towards one of the areas that provided support in the pre-market. We just took the VWAP out. We just took a little bit of a size offer out. Okay, not completely. There we go. Now it's completely down. Maybe BBLG starts moving here. I do want to check. Yep, Nova. I see, and more people are mentioning this. Jane, I'm not leaving you hanging here. I think several people did mention Nova. I can't necessarily place it. Nova had earnings this morning. Yesterday after hours. There's a beat on the top and the bottom line, raises their cash generation outlook. That's exactly what you want to see from some of these small caps here. You can see Nova actually went higher after the report, higher in the pre-market, and the dip was bought. We traded right back down to where we kind of stopped moving yesterday. Dip got bought and we went higher here. The other thing to note is that this is a clean gap up and break above the 200-day. We definitely want this stock to close above $8 here today. I don't have this on for a day trade. I'd be selling into up moves on this if you do take this. If you're going to swing this, let's see where this closes in relation to its 200-day. That's what's going on here with Nova. I'm all out of it, but as usual, I got out too early. Look, Jane, you're never going to hit the bottoms and the tops consistently. So as long as you made it out with profit, keep it in your pocket and spin it forward.
CVNA looking to take out pre-market high of 153. After that, I have 155.50. That was the after hours high when they reported earnings. So we're really close to breaking over those two levels. And then let me see if I can give you an idea of where that could go afterwards. I think I had mentioned some targets yesterday when earnings was happening, but I can't recall what those were. I think 165 could be on deck if we this momentum keeps up, but we'll have to see.
Pretty big spread here in Carvana. Shake Shack, this is another one that had earnings. This actually continuing to move. So these setups here, these are actually tradable earnings setups. You had a nice little gap on a strong report. We pull right back to the VWAP. We kind of consolidate and hold it. Now we're moving higher. We actually took out those pre-market highs. Look to see if Shack gets rolling here. Is anyone trading Shake Shack? Who's hungry now? Who's thinking about burgers? You can be honest.
Yeah, to your point earlier about IMRX, it did lose a VWAP, and it is trying to get support from a 65 EMA on the 5-minute, and it's also the same top side level from the consolidation and pre-market. So not looking great for IMRX. This might be one of those ones that leaks in the morning and then comes back later on in the day and turns around. But so far, this was a good morning trade, but not looking great at the moment.
Marben says the RR not good. Okay, dude. I'm not sure what that means, but man, that came from the heart. That came from the heart. Has anyone eaten there? I hear it's good. That's Shake Shack. Yes. It's a burger. I would say it's at the top. It's at a higher end of the like burger chain burgers, but I do better burgers in my Blackstone. Let's be honest.
Burger. It's a burger.
Look, like pizza, right? Like it's hard to screw up. Like you have to try to screw up pizza. I feel like, and I feel like burgers are the same thing. Like you could have just kind of a middle of the road one, and it could still be pretty good. You really have to try to screw that up.
Lumen with a high of 393 right now, still looking like it could go towards that this 420 level that I have marked off here. LUMN.
I've got it on the screen. Jane, yeah, it is kind of similar to Five Guys, I would say. Price point's probably similar. Quality's probably similar. They've got like a smoked bacon burger that's really good. But anyway.
So somebody was asking about ARM. The thing about ARM is that their daily chart has a clear head and shoulders on it, and it's just about resolved. There's let's see, one level in particular, I think 120. That's going to be a big support level, I think. Right before.
Yeah, that's right in here. 13. Yep.
So if 120 doesn't hold, then I'd be looking at the 200-day SMA, which is currently at 106. Those would be the next support levels I'd be looking at for ARM. Keep in mind with ARM, that company and Qualcomm are still locked in litigation over a licensing issue when Qualcomm acquired. Trying to think of the name of the company, but they acquired this company that had licensing deals with ARM, and they continue to produce chips with those licenses. They weren't supposed to, so they've been in this litigation. So depending on how that gets resolved, could be bad for one of the companies or both of them. Just keep that in mind. And if you're going to be owning or holding a ARM, just do some research and see if that is going to factor into your trade plan.
Good stuff there. Remember, Qualcomm kind of led the way with earnings, gave everything back in the after-hour session, actually going lower here today. So someone had asked about Qualcomm earlier. This really kind of giving it up, showing a lot of weakness here. Good morning, Nick Brown. Great to see you here, Nick. With all of the earnings that took place the last couple of days, what do you think is the most standout report, either good or bad? Your choice. Let me know what you think the biggest standout report of this week so far is. Meta. I see Meta Boys being typed in the chat here. Meta is going higher. We did take out that intraday high right off the pop there. Oh, man. So who was that? Jay Harris, was it you asking about Meta calls earlier? Did you take them? That VWAP ad there on Meta calls would have been great. I know I say it till I'm blue in the face here. This is not a stock that I like, not a company that morally I can own, so I don't trade it. But you guys are all. This was a good move here. Did any of you take this? Jay Rice, did you take this? This seems like something that you'd be able to play.
The Crow mentioning RDHL. This looks like it's about to break its pre-market high, or maybe that's after hours. Either way, 67 cents is the high that this is going after. It breaks this one, I'd be looking at 81 cents.
There's your penny. Hey, see, I was just talking about penny stock. There's your penny stock du jour. Lumen here. Are we printing fours yet? We are right on deck here. Some size right ahead of that. There's size at 4 and at 3.99 and right where the offer is right now. But that's how you look at this chart, man. I got all green, just a sea of green. It is St. Patrick's Day here on the Lumen intraday chart. All of these volume candles are green. All of the price candles are green. Who was talking about Rustical? You were talking about IMRX. This right here, if you're not in this to me feels like a straight up chase. Look at the move. Look at the move. This break from the high, what was this? The 30th? That was not yesterday, the day before. So Tuesday, the high, the intraday high on Tuesday, we snapped that. Good volume here today. This continues to run. This to me is a chase. Where are you offering this out?
Big resistance at 4 that it's chewing its way through it. 420 is still the level I have for this stock to get to before it runs into some resistance, maybe turns around. But we'll see if it can even get up there. It's got a lot of orders to chew through between 4 and 415.
Good stuff there. Jay saying, no, not in on Meta. I bought it after the previous quarter at 410, but sold it. Yeah, you sold it for a pretty hefty gain, if I'm not mistaken. Honestly, I should probably some of those names, maybe not Meta, but some of those other bigger names that you're swinging, I should probably join you with some of those. Lion Atlas says he needs a new computer. Okay, well, you've been doing pretty well in the market, so that should be kind of a write-off for you. I know 13 just built his new computer, so we'll be happy to answer questions if you have any on that. Rusty Cal, speaking of Rusty Cal, IMRX looking like it wants to dump. We already had one knife here. I think if it dumps again, let's see if it gets down to this 144, 140 area from the pre-market. That's where we held in. I actually would be interested to see if it can hold this level, if it makes it back down there. So that might be something to keep in mind. Sorry?
On the 5 minute, that's the 200 EMA, and that has been providing support for this stock all through the pre-market. So if we go down to that, that'd be a good indicator to maybe try to play the bounce. I don't know that I'm going to do that, but that's how I would play this if I decide I want to pick this up and trade it again.
And this current 3 minute candle, which doesn't close for another 45 seconds or so here, this actually looks like this is feeling a little heavy. There are offers, excuse me, there are offers 147 through 150, but we'll see if that's enough to soak it up. Just not sure.
It looks like it's going to roll. I think he's right. This is the MACD is starting to curl as well. I'm pretty sure this is going to 145.
Let's see. Okay.
CVNA got a high of 153.98. Could say that it needs to come back in, but I'd still like to see it get to 155.50 before that happens. I don't know that I'll get my wish. Wint had halted to the downside. Now it's unhalted, right beneath VWAP at the moment. After this 5 minute candle, it might that we're getting a new one. It might turn around and try to recapture VWAP with this candle.
Nick, you're going to be very PC here and wait for the big day to get out of the way, but you'll let us know. All good. Great to see you. Pop in and say hello. We'll talk soon. Yes, indeed. We miss you too. Miss those news drops. Tom saying JMIA. Remember we talked about this. JMIA getting smacked down. I wonder if that guy who bought the 6,000 options is still holding. Well, I can't tell you about the guy specifically. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right expiry here because I believe those contracts are still getting held. Not by us, though. We closed that gain out for 100% gain. Okay, so it was August 6th, so it is the August 9th chain. It was the 17.5 calls. I do remember that. There is 12,900 contracts being held open at that 17.5 strike for next week.
Yeah, Michael Storm. That's literally every daily chart, not just Webble. So I use 5 minute. I use 5 minute on my trading. So I hope that helps.
Okay. So yeah, Tom, it does look like some of those are still being held. We'll see though. All I know is that we took gains and we moved on from that one. That didn't even take a full session to be able to book those gains. Not the norm. Okay, let's take a look through. This is awesome. I'm actually seeing some bigger stocks here on the relative volume scanner. That tells me that there is some pretty significant. I mean, I guess the bar set so low. Maybe that's what's going on, but it does seem like this is significant. Shake Shack looking like this is going to try and move higher here. TMDX, another one that was mentioned in the chat earlier, that also on the relative volume scanner here. TMDX, yeah, I got it here. Looks like maybe we reclaim VWAP here and move higher. We shall see. FMC. Oh, yeah. And I guess we should mention Disney, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we should mention Disney because this was a new swing long swing short on Disney. We're looking for an 80 move here. 13, this did exactly what you were looking for.
Well, so far, it did go up to that. It did fill the gap. That was the first thing I was looking for. It did go
Right
up to
here.
the 20-day SMA. We got a rejection of that yesterday. The thing that I don't want to see happen is support at around 92. We'll call it 92.50. I don't want to see the price slow down and get support there, because that could start to put in a bull flag. I want to see this, come down pretty significantly, go through that 92.50 with some authority, and find support closer to 9.50. I still think this has got a lot of headwinds going for it. I don't think that the layoffs in their TV division are going to change investor sentiment. I think there's just too many negatives happening with this company right now. So that's one of the reasons why I'm short with this.
Yeah, and really here, a break of this 90 to the downside, we're in real good shape. I took this via, here, let me actually get you the exact position I take so you can track that. I took the November 80 puts. Okay, so those November 80 puts, we took a little starter on that. We'll see where we go here with Disney. I would be tempted to add to that if we do get a nice flush through that 90 level, just FYI. So Disney, we are in a swing short there on Disney. All right, let me go back to trade the pool here. Looks like tuna was mentioned in ISPO. I'm probably too slow on this tuna. I'm sorry about that. Wanted to get that Disney trade out of the way. Let's see what ISPO looking like maybe. So Smoke Tuna, I know you're always saying buy the weakness. What do you think this breaks the upside here? 785? Does look like it's trying to push. This was resistance, and this was a resistance area yesterday. I beg your pardon.
CVNA has come down to the pre-market consolidation, getting some support. It's still above VWAP. I'm not making any predictions if this reverses and goes higher. It's perfectly capable of doing so, but I don't want to predict where this is headed from here. WINT tried to recapture or get back up to VWAP, couldn't quite do it in this candle. It's about to looks like it's about to go lower.
My friends are fun. I'm lucky. I'm really lucky. Sorry, I was just checking a group chat there. And what's with the monster knives on ISPO? Some stocks just, oh my God. So Brad, some stocks just like to do that. I'll be honest. When I see stuff like this, generally speaking, I either try to stay away or kind of just lighten up what I'm doing, or I'm a little bit quicker on the trigger here. Don't necessarily like that. ONMD being mentioned here. What's that doing?
And ISPO has
not a whole lot. ONMD, why are we? Sorry.
No, ISPO has a 2.14 million share float. So that is you're gonna see knives happen with low float stocks like that. Okay, so that's US based. All right. I don't even know what this move is about. Look
at the move in BMEA. And I missed I was off sides on this one. Let's go. Yeah, Wiss, you're all over this one. Damn. Nice little move above the 50 here.
RDHL popped above the pre-market highs. 81 cents still the upside target I'd have beyond that. As soon as it popped above it, decided that's where the selling is going to start happening. Let's see if it can hold VWAP. If it does, then there's still a chance for 81 cents. Looks like Wint still trying to turn around, even though it went slightly lower than the last candle.
Lynn, will there be a show tomorrow with me out? Yes. It'll be Zunaid and 13 bringing you home, bringing you the bacon. So yes, it'll absolutely be there. Stay focused. Good morning. It's great to see you this morning. Can you please share 13? Can you please share some meaningful support you see on AMD? So stay focused, being very specific. He doesn't want to know about the BS support. He wants to know about the meaningful support that you have here on AMD. One thing I will say, yesterday's intraday low is definitely a level to watch here. Let's go ahead and flip over to AMD. I'll get you a bigger chart. We can break it down like a fraction together. Here you go.
So that was a handy rejection of the at the 200-day SMA. Looks like we're going to be getting a death cross sometime this month if the price does not recapture it. As far as levels go, 134.50 or 134. We could call it 134 even. That looks like a pretty significant level. That was both support and resistance. So we have it being support back in 22. Then it became resistance, and it was tested as resistance in June of 2023. Then after it broke out over that level, it became support again, and we got a support test in January of this year. And we also got another support test back on July 30th, just a couple of days ago. Now, because it's been being tested, I feel like this is going to end up breaking down and becoming resistance again. If we do get that breakdown, I'd be looking at I guess we'll call it 116, which is just slightly above the 500-day SMA. So those would be my two levels I'd be watching for, 134 and 116 for breakdown levels.
Yeah, this 134 level, to me, this one's fairly simple. If 134 cracks stay focused, I'd be rooting for this to maybe print 115 down near this 500 day. If we take a look back, what happened the last time, this 500 day did really, really well. The short-term bounce, then the recapture, and then that huge run as we really kind of extended away from it. So that's what I'd be looking for here. Amanda, offsides, LOL. Ryan has football withdrawals. Get this guy some ESPN quick. So fact check accurate. I do have withdrawals from football, but thankfully all of that stuff is going to change this evening, Amanda. So I am extremely excited for that. I will enjoy. Also back on track here, guys. AMD makes no sense. They report good earnings. Nvidia goes up, they go down. So this is actually a relationship that we've seen. We talked about this in the happy hour too. NVIDIA definitely seems to be the darling, right? AMD seems to be a little bit behind, especially with the AI game that they're playing. They don't necessarily have the chip. Now, I don't know what that means for them going forward. I like their products. AI aside, I'm using a Ryzen 9 processor in my computer as we speak right now. But it clearly doesn't have the same type of that NVIDIA does. And I think that that's one of the reasons that you're seeing these diverge, even with the report. I want to take the smoke tuna approach here and buy weakness on AMD. So I want this to be near a support level. We'll see if 134 ends up holding it.
Now with NVIDIA, it is testing its 50-day SMA and currently getting a little bit slapped down by it. I think that NVIDIA needs to recapture this probably today, or this could be going lower. Because then we're going to get the 20-day SMA crossing the 50, and that's not a very good sign. So that's what I'd be looking at with NVIDIA. I don't have a position in NVIDIA. I just own it through ETFs, but that I would be a little bit concerned about the inability to get back over the 50-day SMA after spending so much time down here beneath it.
Yeah, I'm going to draw this trend line and see if this trend line, I'm with you there, 13. Looks like a move here between moving averages. We'll see here on NVIDIA. I am going to kind of watch that trend line as a little bit aggressive with the steepness of it, but we'll see if this ends up playing out here on NVIDIA. Okay. Jay Harris saying, Ryan, the meta calls played out. Awesome. Look, if I hate a stock, that doesn't mean that you folks can't make money off of it. I will try to be as impartial as I can. Sometimes I'll screw up at that. I'm sorry. I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. If we take a look here at Meta, though, remember, and actually let me go back to a different chart that's already got the correct indicator on. If we take a look here at Meta, this was really that just ripped through the VWAP there with the strength, with the good earnings report as the tailwind there. Glad you're able to make some money off that. Glad you're able to make some money. Tom saying, how do I get to the happy hour? You have to be a Benzinga Pro member. We post the registration link as a notification, and then sometimes in the happy hour chat as well. Would love to hear from you.
Lion Atlas, 100 doesn't seem too bad, but that's going to be in the middle of a gap fill. I think that the price would fully fill the gap all the way down to 96 before reversing. So, maybe consider that or throw it into your thesis. But I don't know that that reversing in the middle of a gap fill is something NVIDIA would do. Can, but it doesn't seem to me like that would be the likely price action. I think it would fill the gap.
Hey, real quick here. IMRX. Carmen, you mentioned this is breaking up here. Did kind of trade off this 150 bottom. Definitely use that as support. There was a bid down there and 2 cents beneath it. That's obviously held it. The one thing that I really want to see here, do we get this volume to really kind of expand back up? If we do, we could get a move through the VWAP just like we traded at right out of the open. Let's see if we get that again here in IMRX. SPY at lows, by the way, folks. So I called you Jay. I know your name starts with a J, but you're not Jay. 13. We talked earlier about 555 maybe being some resistance here from SPY. Looks like that is playing out. We didn't quite get there, but boy, we got real close. Now we're actually lows of the intraday session here on SPY. Let's see what the Qs look like. Just kind of taking a whip around here. Qs right at VWAP. That pulled off its highs as well. And IWM still leading the way to the downside here. That is the weakest of them here today. Make sure that that's the case. Yes, IWM down 1%. That is the weakest of the indices, at least on my screen.
For SPY, 551.80. That's a previous all-time high. That's the support that I'm looking at right now for the price to maintain its standing up here. Otherwise, it's going to fall through that, and then I'd be looking at 548.62, which is also a previous all-time high.
Jay Michael, I have a friend interested in Benzinga Pro. Is there a referral process, or just have him reach out? So we don't have referral system. We do have a affiliate system, but let me put you in contact with James from our team, because James has an uncanny ability to work deals and find people cheap prices. He's the guy that you want to talk to here. Let me get you his stuff real quick.
LUMN, while you're doing that, reached 410.
Let me put it on screen at least here real quick.
Still looking to see if that can get up to 420 and higher, possibly. If this breaks over 420 and starts to run, I'd be looking at 495 as the next upside target. You mentioned about Boeing. That is just the ugliest of candles today, but it is still getting some support from the 50-day SMA for the time being.
Jay Michael, there you go. James's direct contact info in the chat. And for anyone else, if you're looking to take the step into the world of Benzinga Pro, be sure to talk to James first, because he's likely going to be able to find you the cheapest possible price. Okay. Boy, look at Lumen. I didn't even look at this since I took it off the screen here. Came back into VWAP and tried to go higher here.
Looks like we're about to get 420 print here in short order.
Okay.
Getting pretty close. And
hey, Joe, what do you think about this handle here? This is pretty good, right? This is a pretty good one.
Yeah, because that's our name's 3 letters long. It's just Joe.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. I'm 300%, dude.
That's awesome,
dude.
And there's 420 in Lumen,
holding for 7x. Joe, when we get asked for advice here, can't really give advice, but what I would say here is, if that were me, I'd be at least skimming on the way up, just to make sure. We never know what is going to happen here in the future. But you know what, man? You're obviously cooking right now, so good stuff there. You love to see it. See it.
And one of the reasons we're so ready to take profits, on these upside moves, after a short amount of time this happens, because this market's very choppy right now.
Yeah.
And we don't want to get caught on the wrong side of these trades because we were in them for too long. So we're just going to play it a little bit safe. Always try to end up in as much cash as you can at the end of the day, unless you're doing swing trades or something like that. But for day trades, got to be in cash by the end of the day, because these things can absolutely go the wrong way for you the following day. So please be careful with how you're trading. Don't be afraid to take gains in this choppy market, and stick to your winning strategies if you've got them.
Yeah. Just to be clear, Joe, I laugh now. I am not laughing at your strategy. I'm with you. I'm someone that's also expecting a market turn. And let me tell you something else. You're on to something here, because if the market really starts to crack, the VIX stuff, that stuff is going to rip. That TWM is the ultra short Russell. ETF. But I understand your thoughts here on the VIX. And look, I've been expecting a market turn. You're going to see me happy as a clam if we get one down here. If I'm able to buy back really good companies at discounted prices and we start resetting some of the fundamentals on some of these stocks, I'm going to be happy as it gets.
Yeah,
happy as it gets. And I'm hoping you bank, Joe. I'm hoping you bank.
The only thing I'm laughing at is how well you've done. That's awesome. But I agree with you. I've actually been looking for VIX to hit 20 last month. I don't know that we got up there. I think we got pretty close. But September is going to be the next time I expect the VIX to spike. You can go back to every election year and look at the VIX, and you'll see that we get a spike in the VIX in late June, early to mid July, and then we'll get another spike in the early September. So early September, I'm expecting there to be another spike in the VIX. Gold at all-time high. Is it telling you something? Yeah. Inflation is, or people are preparing for inflation, and they should be. We're adding another, 100 billion trillion every 100 days to the national debt, something like that.
GLD, by the way, actually looking like we might get a double top or even a test and a possible breakout here. 229.65. It's only 3 points away from where we're at.
Yeah, Lion, I was doing that too, around 67.
You're taking profit on FMC. I'm in for a longer term. It's a longer term trade for me, but good conviction there, Atlas, because you were adding every day that thing was getting pounded. You were doing that thing where you hold your nose and you're buying, and now it's time for you to do the victory lap as you sell that multiple points higher. That's trading right there. Even if you have a core position, that's trading right there, Lion Atlas.
Hey, Jay Rice,
baby.
I'd agree with that too. I mean, one of the things I've been watching is some of these that I've been, been in and shouting about. As I don't think necessarily on here as much as the happy hour, but the industrial military stocks. My favorites are Lockheed Martin and RTX. You can even go to the ITA, which is an aerospace and defense ETF, and see that we've been really moving over the past week, really, and it's because of the in part those tensions in the Middle East. We have South East Asia tensions, just tensions all over the world, just gearing up for military conflict, which to me, at this point kind of seems a little bit inevitable. Yes, same thing, Line Alice. Getting a mention on IMRX. That one's it's still trying to get its way back up to VWAP. But it did. It seems like it did go a bit low enough for it to turn around. But still, I don't like those upper shadows. They're just telling you right now that the buying power isn't as strong as this selling pressure. Now it could get going up to maybe about 165, but then you start running into a lot of sell orders, especially when you get up to 170. We'll see.
Mira getting asked about, that was a recent runner. Mira is actually kind of curling up here, but some of these smaller junky names, if they don't have volume, it almost doesn't even matter what the price is doing, because if it doesn't have the volume, it's not going to be able to take out some of those key levels until it gets that volume. And it just might not be liquid enough for what we're trying to do here. So I do see the move above, the curl above the VWAP here on Mira, but the volume's got me saying I'm a pass.
What happened to this one yesterday toward the end of the day?
Let me pull. Sorry, I was just looking at the thing. Let me look it up here. I was just looking at the intraday, trying to answer his question.
Gotcha.
Let's see if there was anything there. Monday, Mira reporting, that was July 29th. Yeah, I don't see any news. The most recent news was a PR here from Monday morning. It looks like maybe just a regression back down.
Look at that daily chart. That's interesting. I bet if we golden cross that, we could try to push up to 5 again. Maybe there's another catalyst coming. Sometimes they line that up pretty well. But we'll see. I'm not making any, I'm not saying this is going to go to 5. I'm just kind of saying, well, let's see what happens if this price holds up here which will result in a golden cross, which is when the 50-day SMA crosses the 200 to the upside. That's a bullish signal. So if we get that and it starts to move up, 5 would be my target, and then it could break out and go to 640. That's where that consolidation is from August of 23. So that could be something that happens. No position in this. Not going to take one until I get some confirmation of that, though.
Look at the reversal in Tesla. Move right up towards 232, and then a 5-point reversal here.
Tesla looks like it's going to trade between 232 and 226 for a little bit until it decides if it's going to break out or break down from that range.
Jay saying market is taking the next leg down. Yes, it is, dude. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It looks like the whole market doing that, right? Q's down, SPY down, IWM, same deal. Yes, sir. All of them at the lows here. Market definitely taking a downturn.
548.62. That is the previous all-time high that I'd be looking for the price to make its way towards. Looks like Wint is trying to turn around, still beneath VWAP. RDHL trying to get back above VWAP, currently rejected. Lumen, after hitting that 420 level, which was nice, coming back in a bit, still above VWAP. So there is a chance that as long as that holds VWAP, that we might see this turn around and break out over 420. If it does, we'll be looking at 495 as the next upside target. Got to hold VWAP, got to make sure that the MACD doesn't start rolling over, or else we probably will end up trading beneath it.
Sorry, I was reading something else. What ticker were you talking about there?
That was Lumen.
Lumen, I'm so sorry.
No worries, man.
Seeing some of the early strength kind of evaporate here. That VIX continues to go higher here. Disney continues to go lower. That'll work for what we're trying to do.
BBLG has broken down. There was a 315 level that I was watching that was a resistance turn support level for the pre-market. Could never get back up to that pre-market high. We started leaking. Now we're beneath, going beneath the VWAP and all of these other EMAs. Looks like this one's headed to about 260, I would say.
NXTT, Smoke Tuna, even on a day where everything seems like it's turning over, Smoke Tuna says, hold my French wine. I'm going to show you something that's moving towards the top here. NXTT did take out that VWAP going for those pre-market highs. This did get some volume flow in here recently.
Well, seems like things are slowing down a little bit.
Yep. Humble Ninja asking about news here. I mean, the only real news, we got the ISM data. ISM manufacturing prices for July, 52.9 versus the 51.9 estimate. The prior read was 52.1. ISM manufacturing PMI for July, 46.8 versus the 48.8 estimate. The prior reading was 48.5. So both those numbers a little light here. I'm not sure if that's what's doing it. Fed swaps fully price in 3 interest rate cuts by year end. So that would be September, November, and December.
So NXTT, apparently they acquire and hold Bitcoin. So I look at their balance sheet, and I see that they have cash equivalents of about $668,000. I kind of wonder how they're they're reporting their Bitcoin holdings. Because if that's all they have in Bitcoin, I'd be concerned. So I'm not sure about this.
ISPO breaking out here. Good call, Robert. Thinking about it, hold my here. Hang on. Let me read this correctly. Hold my Cote de Rhone. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Thinking about it says, how about that Bank of Japan raising rates? How about it? What do you make of that? Thinking about it. What are you looking for off that? And didn't we have the ECB cutting this morning?
Let's see.
Let me go back to my newsprint here. Could have sworn that's what happened. Hang on a sec.
We were talking about in happy hour.
Yeah.
It was brought up that the yen carry trade could start to unwind. Might see that kind of carry trade move into Southeast Asia or some other location other than Japan where rates are low.
BOE cut rates. Thank you. Thank you, Zahur. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Stay focused. Why be concerned about what? What was it that I said that got your attention? I say a lot of things. I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
I have trouble with that too sometimes.
All right. Well,
adios, James. Glad you were able to keep yourself safe there. Good stuff.
that's not a bad idea at this
Nope.
point. Seems like things are really slowing down here. You got gains and you've taken them. Hey, you've already done well. Why ruin that? Company owning Bitcoin. Why would I be concerned? Because that's a cash equivalent, in my opinion. How do you report if you're a company like Mara, let's say for example, or MSTR, and you hold a lot of Bitcoin and that makes up your cash equivalents? You'd report that, wouldn't you?
I would think so.
I guess that's just kind of my thought process is if you have Bitcoin, which is it's its own asset class now, but essentially it's liquid enough to where you can just turn it into cash. Wouldn't that be a cash equivalent? Or maybe I'm just thinking that it's classified differently. You tell me, stay focused. Is that how you would classify Bitcoin on a balance sheet, or what? How would you classify Bitcoin when you're looking at a company's balance sheet that holds Bitcoin? I think it would be cash equivalents. Yeah. So when it's only like 660,000 in their cash equivalents, that doesn't seem like that's a whole lot of. Right. I get that ADW Texas, but how do you report that on a balance sheet?
Mm-hmm.
Is it liquid, or is it part of their another tangible asset? Like let's take a look at the balance sheet here. Is it long-term investments and advances? I mean, how do you report that so that the company knows that you have a substantial amount of it and it's propping up your company's value? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
AMD gave it all back. Oh my gosh, I'm having all types of trouble here with my ticker entry. Look at that. Look at that. We were talking about some support levels earlier for AMD. Let's see if it gets down to this 134. 5 points away from that.
Well, the thing about the equity in my home is that there's a whole process I have to go through in order to, realize that. With Bitcoin, I can just hit an exchange and I'm in cash in a matter of seconds.
Sounds a lot like stock to me.
The whole point is,
sorry.
No,
go ahead. You guys are having a great discussion. I don't want to get in
well,
the way.
I guess I'm just wondering to myself, like how are these companies reporting their Bitcoin holdings so that it shows up on in terms of evaluation for their company. Like if I have $1 million in Bitcoin and I'm not reporting that, and my company's market cap is like 5 million, that seems like that's a big hole in my valuation if I'm not reporting that. Why wouldn't you? So I guess the whole question I have is how are these companies reporting their Bitcoin holdings? Where does that show up on the balance sheet? That's just what I'm kind of getting across.
Robert saying they need to update their rules for Bitcoin holding. And Meta, by the way, rolling it over here.
Oh, it looks like Zuckerberg sold.
Yeah, and Zippity, Zahur corrected me earlier. I'm sorry for screwing that up. It was the Bank of England, not the European Central Bank, that cut. Apologize for screwing that up earlier.
Yes, Ira, it can. because we've seen that headline come out, and it has moved the market before. I don't know that it's going to have necessarily as much pull as like Fed as rates, but it's definitely something, because we're trying to bring some manufacturing back to the U.S. So I think that lower than expected numbers would be that isn't really working, or it's too expensive because Americans cost a lot of money to employ.
Real quick here, Ilya. How can I sign up for the happy hour chat Zoom call? You need to be a pro member to do that. So you need to either have an active subscription to pro. If you want to try it out, start a trial for pro. I put James's information in the chat earlier, and shoot, I didn't copy it, so I can't paste it here. Here's his phone number here. I'm going to give you his phone number. Here's James. You can also start a trial there. Ryan, did you get out of the rest of your EA? I left the building on that yesterday. I did not. So real quickly here, I have just a very small position left. If it goes to 0, Amanda, I still am going to be in the positive category section because I was able to sell some. But I'll be honest with you, this trade did not work. I was hoping for a bigger run right after earnings. With each passing day right now, with the contracts being such short dated, they're likely going to expire worthless. Let me take a look at it right now and see where we're at here. I've been watching the price action here. Yeah, this is a 25-cent bid on this. At this point now, why? I'll wait and see if next week, if we've got a big move, if it goes above 155, the calls will be in the money. We'll be able to deal with it then. But no, unfortunately, I didn't get out of the rest of this. It didn't work. I'm very, very thankful that it traded up all day the morning that we bought it, because I was able to just shave half of it off and book the gains there.
So stay focused. Thank you for clearing that up for me. So when I go back to NXTT and I look at their long-term investments and advances, they have nothing there. So for a company that says that half their business segment is owning and holding Bitcoin, they're not reporting that. So again, I'm concerned. Now, they could be putting it in other current assets, which would make sense because they have 59 million that they reported in that segment, but they don't have anything in long-term investments and advances. So that's just kind of the point I'm getting at, is how are these companies reporting their Bitcoin holdings that have it? Is it long-term investments? Is it cash and equivalents? Is it other assets? That's where the confusion I'm having is, and that's kind of what I'm getting at about these companies that say that they have Bitcoin, and there's no clear indication about how they're reporting that. I guess I need some. I'd have to do some more digging.
Looks like they did for you. Real quick, Ryan, I get to play one of my bucket list courses this weekend. Check out Cloudland and Macklemore Golf Resort. Will do. What state is that in? Let me screenshot the name of this here real quick so I don't forget. I am going on a trip to Kalamazoo. I'm playing 4 courses over the course of 3 days. They look gorgeous too. Never played any of them. Going to add a bunch of logo balls to my collection as well. Going to be a sweet weekend for sure.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm going to take a look at that.
Which one?
What Jonathan Cooper said. I'm going to take a look at that.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it. No, it's not a ticker. Okay. Lumen. Yeah, sorry. I left this on EA for too long. Sorry about that. Samuel, here is Lumen. We're at the VWAP. So do you think that this is going to bounce here, or do you think it breaks down from here? Market's still weak across the board. Dow, Qs, SPY, all across the board. BMEA, this is one that was mentioned earlier. This coming back into VWAP. We'll see if this keeps rolling. Yeah, Robert, you were saying earlier, earnings plays either work or don't. Got to play them carefully. Exactly. Now, here's the other thing. We had actually been doing all right with some earnings plays. So all of this money that I've been using for these binary event trades has all been off profits. I haven't risked any of the capital that I've been saving for any of those trades. That's an important distinction. Maybe I wasn't clear on that. You get no, I have a golf course. And multiple see, a couple of my coworkers that live in Detroit are also going to drive. So Kalamazoo is like kind of halfway between where I'm at and Detroit. So That's why we're doing this. By the way, when we were discussing this golf trip, we all made a conscious decision not to fly and to do something that we could drive to. So keep that under your hat.
Getting a question about RDHL. I mean, this thing is still beneath VWAP, and it continues to make lower lows on the 5-minute chart.
Hey, look who it is.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt. I clicked the wrong button. Go ahead. I'll finish up. My bad.
If this continues to trade down, I'd be looking at the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, which I currently have at about 52 cents.
Sweet. Just wanted to give the folks a quick reminder that today we're going to have the Apple earnings call tonight. It's supposed to be possibly at 3:30, but we might go instead of 3:30 to 4 o'clock. We might do 4 o'clock to say 5 o'clock. And of course, it'll be myself and it'll be Mitch. For those of you that have watched us for a long time, Mitch was on live trading along with Ryan and 13. I think you came maybe right after that. I'm not quite sure, but so yeah, it'll be Mitch and I trade the pool later today. Should be some fun stuff. We'll go over obviously all the great features of Trade the Pool, but we'll also review everything else that's happening in the market and see what trades we can come up with. So the links in the chat. And of course, at 11 o'clock, we'll have the real estate webinar. We'll have about 3 conversations on how you can invest your money in the real estate, even if you don't want to buy a house.
And we're sending them there to that webinar right from here, right, Zunaid?
Yep, that is correct. We'll end this stream at 11. We'll go there. And then, of course, I would highly recommend getting the notify me on the earnings call for Apple. So whether it's at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, to join us.
BMEA pulling to the downside here. Appreciate that, Zunaid. Zunaid, what are you trading here today before you dip?
To be honest, nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Got you.
Just been running around. Yep, just been running around. But I will say, what I wish I was trading was good old Meta. What I was on my little hot. I was on my hot girl walk, and I got a text that said, "Yo, did you get Meta? It's like up 20%." And I'm like, "Yo, go screw yourself." No, I didn't. That was a mean text I sent back, but we're buddies. That's
yeah. All good.
But thankfully, Robinhood is up. That's all I can ask for in life.
Okay.
Robinhood is up. All right. Wait, what did they report? Sorry.
Meta?
No, Robinhood. Okay, next week. Okay, cool. I still can breathe a little. All right, I'll catch you later.
All right, take care of yourself, Zunaid. All right, real quick here. It would take you longer to drive to Kalamazoo than it would to fly. Yes, that is correct. It's about a 3-hour drive from where I'm at to where I'm going. I'm going to throw on a podcast. I'm going to chill. I'm going to tear that road up. I like driving. So this is no big deal for me. Devo asking, Ryan, what is the significance behind your decision not to fly? A couple of things. Number one, cost, right? We wanted to keep golf trips can get expensive in a hurry. Wanted to keep the cost down as much as we could. So we wanted to go somewhere that was within driving distance. But furthermore, none of us are terribly thrilled with what we're seeing from the airline industries, between the Boeing planes that seem to be falling out of the sky, between some of the outages because of software at the airport, traffic at the airport, just a lot of hassle that we really didn't want to do with this trip. So the significance here is that the mode of transportation was decided prior to the location, and take that for whatever it's worth. I don't know if you can extrapolate that or scale that to a larger population cohorts, but we were okay just not flying somewhere and just kind of doing something a little bit easier for this particular trip.
You're watching Live Travel Trips with 13 and Ryan.
You are supposed to get to the airport 2 hours early. That's true, but man, oh man, I am not a patient fellow. When I'm around crowds of people, I could not sit in an airport for an hour and a half doing nothing. I just can't. I try to time that ish perfectly.
Looks like Lumen is trying to hold above VWAP. If we can hold above this, then looking like it could try to trade back up to that 420 level and take it out. Currently, MACD looks like it's still think that there's some downside ahead, but just watch to see if we hold on to that VWAP, because I think that's going to tell you whether or not this is worth trading.
PMAC, Ken mentioning PMAC here. Maybe it's gearing up. This is curling here. Volume is not notable. If you take a look at what PMAC did yesterday, look at the difference between the volume yesterday during those moves and the volume here today. To me, that's going to be one of the big signs there. If you get it, maybe it is in play. Penny play here we'll see on PMAC, but this is curling here. Hello, Lumen. Lumen right at that VWAP.
Yeah, I just my whole trip that I just took, I drove. And I went to San Antonio and on a half a tank of gas. It only cost me $15. So
Yeah.
worth it if it's a short trip like that.
Market Sniper saying that's why you hit the bar. It's always okay to drink before noon at the airport. Fact check true. I did see yesterday that there was some group of scientists that came out and said drinking on an airplane is really bad for you and you shouldn't do it. I have a message to those scientists. Go yourself. Seriously, like literally go do something else. Go study something else. Do something else with your life. It is an airplane. People are going to drink and take the edge off on an airplane. Don't come out here with your ridiculous studies showing, oh, yeah, it could be bad for you 15, 20, 30 years down the road. Literally go do something else. Be productive. Don't tell me not to drink in an airport or on an airplane. Like, I'm sorry. That's absurd.
IVP just broke out of this.
Sorry, I had to go off. I had to pop off there. I had to. I normally don't do that. I had to do that. I'm sorry, and I tried to censor the language. I'm sorry, but that really just irritates me.
Oh, I'm glad you got it out.
Thank you.
IVP with the pop over $10 here. This has been like an on and off stock all through July, it seems. Just, it shows up and then makes this crazy move and then just kind of whimpers. This has been
tell me to cool it. Yeah, you're right about that. Sorry, 13. Go ahead.
No worries. Yeah. Anyway, that one had a nice pop and drop here, so just thought I'd mention that. Maybe it does it again if it can hold VWAP.
Look at AMD. Who shorted AMD? Robert, I did it with my voice. You know what? I should have done this. I should have been like, go yourself. It's harder with the button. It's easier when I do it normally. Anyway, who shorted AMD here today? Because that was the trade. That was the. I mean, even Nvidia, I still think that AMD short was better. How are we doing on some of the other tech stocks? Apple holding lower ahead of earnings. By the way, speaking of that, is anyone playing Apple for earnings? Is anyone buying Apple for the earnings print? Long or short, doesn't matter. I'm just wondering if you're trying to play the earnings print itself here on Apple. Amazon chart looks actually similar here to Apple, at least the level does.
SPY looking for some support from that 548.62 previous all-time high level I had mentioned earlier. We don't hold that. It's going to be 547.
BA was better. Oh, Jay, you might be right. You might be right. I mean, this is a 10-point move on BA. What do we have here on Amazon? 8-point move. Nope, Jay. Sorry, Jay. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. And Jay, shout out because you were on that. You had mentioned that early. I'm holding Jay? Apple both ways through earnings. Okay.
What do you think, Jay? Do you think we see some support in Boeing at 180 before it goes lower, or what are you looking for? Because it looks like 180 has been, 179, 180 has been a pretty big support level through last month. Arm short even better. Everybody's like, well, how about this short?
My short is better than your short.
You guys are all winners today, okay? The short market, you're good.
Thank you, 13. Thank you, 13. Arm short, though, you would have really had to done well on this because this moved out of the open against the move that it made in the after hours and that it continued in the pre-market. So we had a regression move. In this case, the move was up, but then it was just straight up rejection. 11-point peak to trough there, at least so far. Go ahead.
CVNA has come back up to test the intraday highs. The intraday high being 153.98. Let's just say 154. 154 breakout could be coming here if this upside movement continues with CVNA.
I can't wait for the Maduro Elon fight. Yeah, that would be awesome. Matt, can you review my thesis on NEP? Yeah, well, first of all, this is a Tim Melvin long-term div play pick. This is also an energy play. And if you take a look here, let me actually get you a better chart where it's easier to see. I can cover this here real quick. How much time do we have? Oh, we got plenty of time. This is not going to take me long at all. Here we go on NEP. We take a look at a daily chart. So here's what we're looking at. First of all, let's start with the calendar. Let's go to dividends. You can see the stock, the yield here, 13% yield. You're going to pay me 13% to hold the stock. Giddy up. You'll love to see that. So that's a huge driver here. The other thing here is that this is Next Era Energy. This has a data center energy angle to it. It looks like it's got some real good support right in here. This actually probably goes down to 23. I'd reassess things at 20, but I'm just not sure we're going to get there. I think that this has a possible opportunity to appreciate on the actual underlying asset price, while at the same time paying me a high yield just to hold it. So basically what I'm thinking here, the overall thesis is that I'm thinking I'm going to be able to make money on the equity from holding it. And however many years that takes me, whether it takes me 2 or 3 years, I'm going to get paid during that time to hold it. So that's my thesis here. There might be a point, depending on how long this takes, where the amount of money I've got from the dividends equals what I've cost in this position, at which point I'm just going to hang on to it till that dividend goes away. Huge dividend payout here. Data center angle here from the energy side. That's basically the thesis. I'm in this for the long term. I don't really care about day-to-day movements on this one.
Jay Rice, thank you for the response. Also, one of the things about Boeing that really got me on the bearish side of them, it was, they already had the door plug issue, the Max 8 issue and everything. And that was, we already were expecting the downside on that. But ever since they basically got these astronauts stuck in space, I think that happened sometime in the middle of last month. That's been the big thing for me. Now they don't have just planes that are falling apart. They have astronauts stuck in space now, because they're the module that brought them to the ISS. Apparently there's some leaks, or they're having some issues with it, and it's a Boeing made craft. So now they can't return in that vehicle, even though they have some backups, like we could send SpaceX's Dragon module up there. But that's a big issue right there with getting astronauts stuck in space because your vehicle's got problems. That's huge to me. Lost in space. Yeah, exactly. Oh, somebody should have told them there was danger, Will Robinson.
Oh, I saw that one coming. Saw that one coming here.
And I saw
Elon needs to rescue the astronaut, Shannon. Oh my God. Can you imagine the pub? Yes. Yeah. Oh, we're just going to send a Tesla spacecraft up there. We'll bring you back safe, Shannon. Oh, that's good.
Where's George Clooney when you need him? Or Bruce Willis.
I'll hold my jokes on both of those real quick. Jay Wild here mentioning, let me see if I can find it here. Did you delete the comment? No. Market is singing the Tom Petty song Free Falling. Indeed, looking across, we are starting a bounce right here. Let's see if that bounce materializes. Man, everything really kind of turning over here. BBLG, maybe a move back to the VWAP if this bounce holds in. IMRX, look at that. Smoke Tuna, your call on that being weak and probably done for the day was pretty good. See if this gets rolling in the afternoon. Not great, though.
Somebody mentioned XYLO, Xylo. That one is was trying to break over VWAP, and it's trying to do it right now. It's got an intraday high of 244. So we'll see if Xylo Ren here can get going. BBLG, big disaster. Yeah, it seemed like those movers we had this morning, just, they had great moves out of the gate, or at least one of them did, and that was it.
And that was it. And we didn't overstay our welcome on them. That's the key.
Nope. No losses here.
Should have been the short, like the chat has outlined here, the best move of the day that we should have been in for maximization: short AMD, short Boeing, or short ARM. Those three would have given the best return here today. Yep. I'm trying to think about, like shorting, not my jam. What can I do to kind of change some of those things? What can I do to really feel confident about the trade so that I can repeat the process, not just be lucky? couple of things to think about there.
That's a good question, Jay Rice. I don't know who did that, but I'm thankful that at least we have people on that side of the market that are, willing to hold the bag for people that want to take profit. We don't have a market without folks like those brave soldiers taking that financial loss for us.
Wasn't there a discussion on pre-market prep about someone buying literally the bottom print here on NVIDIA in the after hours session on the 30th, so Tuesday? Didn't Dennis have a friend, Triple D Dennis, didn't he have a friend that texted him an actual confirm showing that they bought this price? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry about that.
I don't know, but if he did, he knows how to catch the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a big move to the downside too. Haven't seen a candle that big since
hey,
July.
where are we at with SMCI? Someone asked about that earlier. And this tea, what happened with this tea? Making me like up here. Okay. We're looking for this. Let's see if this holds the 200-day.
That's what I'm watching for, and I don't know that it will. I mean, it's still hanging out here. It's got to move away from this real soon.
657. So we've got some room down here on SMCI, but man, that's just moving with the rest of the chips here today. That's what she said. Did I miss a good one there? Sorry about that. I should get a good "that's what she said" drop on the soundboard.
Yeah, just have what's his name from the office?
Michael Scott.
Yes.
Get a really good Michael Scott drop where he's kind of laughing and yeah.
Well, because it sounded like he's holding it back when he says it, and I think that effect makes it the best.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't hold it. He's like, oh, that's what she said. It's funny to me.
It is funny to me as well. Look, I often describe myself as a kid that refuses to grow up. That's what she said. A well-placed "that's what she said" will pretty much always elicit laughter from me. You make the judgment what that says about me. You tell me.
Oh yeah, GNRC after it had that earnings pop all the way up to almost 170, we're coming back in. That was a great play. We were talking about that one. Let's see. When did I mention that one? I think I mentioned that one just before the hurricane started. I think it was down around. It was down closer to the 140s, I believe. But yeah, that's had a nice move since the hurricane. Trade's probably over for now. But I know that I'm ordering one. I'm working on that. So they got a customer. I know that my whole neighborhood's got customers looking to purchase Generac. I think Generac's going to still end up doing well at some point, but this move, it's got to cool off from. So that's why you're seeing it come in. Look at
hey, like over time, if that thing can work its way down to the 200, I mean, that'd be a great ad. Really kind of a slower trade.
Yeah, like today, you got a whole bunch of different analyst price targets here. You got 180, 163, 156, 200. They're still bullish on this. This needs to cool off. It's had a big move on earnings, and it's probably a little pricey too. Yeah, PE ratio could come down a little bit. So, does it always peak at the end of July or early August? That's not something I noticed when I was looking at it, but seeing as how that's kind of right after the hurricane season starts, not that surprising. All right, what are we looking at now?
Yeah, I'm trying to look around for stuff too. I'm tapping the Twitter streets here. I wish I had something better for you.
Thinking about it, one thing that it could also pop on later on is if the South has to endure another freeze. That's going to, you'll see a spike in generator, inquiries and demand from that, because that was a rough time. That was a rough time when without having heat in freezing weather. So I don't think people want to get caught with that again. Looks like some of these Look like some of these names are starting to find a bottom.
Yeah, I don't see anything great worth trading here. I'm sorry. I'm looking around at all my sources here.
Mira,
Mira?
MIRA, that
Yep.
one is now making a new high. It looks like it's a little slow moving, but it's been taking a staircase up so far today. IVP does look good. That one's I was moving earlier today as well. I saw that. That popped to the 1020. It's currently beneath VWAP right now, but still holding above the pre-market levels.
Wolf, Robert, Terra Wolf. This did come into its 50 here and held that pretty good. I'd agree with you, Robert. This is actually a decent spot here.
Oh, Line Atlas telling us about CCJ. It has been coming down today, hasn't it?
Ooh. Look, see how it tried to reclaim that 200 and didn't? Oh, I wonder where this bottoms out at.
Well, it could be relatively soon. I mean, like
40.
It's down at a consolidation area from February to March. That's a bit of a demand zone there. You could see the price reverse at some point around there. The low of that time frame is 39.02.
Robert here, sold my shack as I feel it will fill the gap down. That's a nice little register ring. That should have been a nice little trade for you. Wiss talking about MUA here. Are we going to get a Hawk MUA move here today on ticker MHUA? We'll see here. Wiss, it is curling above its VWAP. Really needs to break $1 though. Smoke tuna on Xylo. That was moving earlier. Didn't trade it, but that was moving here. Maybe we reclaim the VWAP.
Maybe it's getting
a lot of stuff showing weakness.
A little relative volume in MUA. Because that volume yesterday was out of this world. Hadn't seen that volume since February 15th. And even then, it wasn't even anywhere near what we got yesterday. Still looks like ZYLO could make a big move over VWAP, but the volume just needs to expand. That's what I'd be watching for with XYLO, is just that volume expansion, and then that'll be your signal to ride the upside.
Humana, that's kind of Humana. I actually think 336 might be a spot.
Yeah, PLTR can be boring until you get the CEO to pump it up or some kind of catalyst, and then it's amazing.
Yeah.
But this thing that got to the 2950 level. That was a kind of a bit of a topping out area back in September of 21, and it came back in to now it's underneath 2750. This looks like it could end up going lower still, and I'd be welcome for that. I want to see it going to 23. That'd be a good move down and make it more interesting for me to pick it up. Looks like Wint is trying to make its way back up to VWAP as well, but this volume is so low in this one, I don't know that it's going to break through it. Maybe it comes back as soon as it gets closer.
Lion Atlas, take care of yourself. Great stuff here today. We're almost done here too. We're actually going for another minute and a half. You want me to give you an accurate reading here? Minute and 15 seconds we got left. What do you want to wrap up in that time, 13?
Oh, well.
I mean, it's the market already kind of wrapped stuff up, and we'll see where we end up closing here. Market weak across the board. I tell you what, that 555 had no chance here today. Just downside.
Yeah, I may, go outside and do some more stuff. Look at Mira. That could still get going. MIRA coming up to a demand zone around 230 to 240. I'm not a demand zone, a supply zone because it's above us. But that one looks like it's kind of moving. I just don't think it has the volume to really, get higher than that consolidation from yesterday, but we'll see. I could be wrong about that.
All right. We are going to be done here for today. 13, I got to say, with really good stuff here this week. I know, vacation here at the beginning. I want to thank you personally for being able to carry the torch forward tomorrow. It'll be 13 and Zunaid tomorrow. We're going to send you over to the webinar right now. Thanks everybody for joining us. Have a great day. Go low, stay safe. I will see you